Welcome to the Dynamics Byte. We are going to walk through step by step how to set up the Supplier Communication Agent in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management using the Agent Deployment Wizard in Power Platform Admin Center. So, what does this agent actually do? At its core, it monitors a shared or private mailbox, reads incoming vendor emails, and uses AI to understand whether that email is about a purchase order. It surfaces a plain language summary directly on the procurement team homepage in Dynamics. So instead of digging through an inbox, the buyer sees vendor name, PO number, what the vendor said, and whether any action is needed. On top of that, the agent can proactively send follow-up emails to vendor when a purchase order response is overdue, complete automatically, or with a human in the loop for review, depending on how you configure it. So to start with, go to Power Platform Admin Center. Recently, Dynamics 365 agent is moved under Manage Hub. There is no change in wizard experience, only the place has been shifted from Copilot Hub to Manage Hub. Click on Manage and then you will select different option in Manage Hub sections. Let's go to this Dynamics 365 agents. Select your environment where you want to deploy the Supplier Communication Agent. Click here, confirm it, and then you will see that this button is enabled. So for Supplier Communication Agent preview, let's click on Add. So it will open Agent Deployment Wizard, and now the whole setup happens through this wizard. The wizard open with an overview page that summarize what it will do and then walks you through 6 steps. Check prerequisites, set up agent identity, connect agent, configure mailbox, and enable agent. Click next. So it will bring you to check prerequisite step. Before the agent can be deployed, the setup wizard validates your environment against a set of prerequisites organized into sections. The first sections check prerequisites, you check manually, the rest are checked automatically. Let's walk through each one. First, let's talk about Dynamics 365 app version. The wizard lists the specific managed solution that must be installed in your environment along with the minimum version required for each. It does not auto check these sections. You need to verify it yourself. A link is provided directly to the Power Platform Admin Center Dynamics 365 app page so you can confirm each app's installed version. Now so you need to select each individually over here and try to see if it is installed and updated. Now, after that, in any case for any of these app, if required version is not yet installed, click its three-dot menu and select update. Once all apps are at the required version, come back to the wizard and mark that sections as complete. For me, apps are already updated. Now return to this particular wizard. Following the update to the latest Dynamics 365 apps, ensure your finance and operation environment is running Microsoft Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management version 10 or 44 or later with all quality updates applied. In my case, I have updated it to 10 or 47. So for checking the same thing, I will have to go to my respective environment and I have to click on this finance and operation URLs. Once you will open this one, what will happen then you can go here and once you will click on about, you can check that my specific version is 10.47. The same way you can check it for your instance. So the remaining sections are automatic in the wizard. The wizard checks them for you, whether Copilot is enabled, whether generative AI features are on, whether Copilot Studio capacity is assigned to this environment, and whether your connector and DLP policies allowed the required connections. Each section shows a green check mark when it passes. Now let's talk about individually all these steps. Enable Copilot features. So click on this particular link over here. Now, once you will click on this link, here you can see Copilot is enabled in your environment. We are looking at product features and all the way at the top is already the Copilot features. In case it is not enabled, you need to visit this setting page to enable it. Because of this setting, Copilot and agents can be utilized in your environment. Now, let's go back to the other page. So let's see the next one, enable generative AI features, and in my case it is returning as disabled. Let's follow with this particular link and let's try to see what is the problem over here. So once you will go over here and this particular section, you can see generative AI features and click on over here and I can see it. I think it is missing this one. So I'm just enabling it and clicking it on saving. So after fixing any prerequisite, enabling a feature, assigning capacity, or updating a policy, return to the wizard and click reload for that sections, which you can find on the right side over here. It does not recheck automatically. So the check marks will turn green once the fix is confirmed. So you can see the fix is confirmed and that is why it turns into green. Okay, now let's also talk about this, the important part, which is called setup Copilot Studio usage and billing. Now let's click on this particular, like sections. So billing should be enabled for Copilot messaging. In my case, it is already set up so that this section is green. But now when you will follow that particular link, ensure billing is enabled for Copilot messaging and that the required capacity has been purchased and assigned for your finance and operation environment. If it is not configured, add a billing plan under this manage billing plans and associate the acquired capacity accordingly. Now let's return to that particular to the wizard. Now here you can see configure data and connector policy. On the DLP topic specifically, the agent requires connections for Microsoft DataVerse and Microsoft Copilot Studio. If your organization has advanced connector policies or data loss prevention policies that block either of these, the wizard will flag it. Work with your platform admin to ensure those connectors are permitted before you continue. So you can see we are talking about DataVerse, Microsoft DataVerse and Microsoft Copilot Studio. Now, with all the sections are green, click on next. Now we set up the agent identity as next. So in the wizard, next step is to set up agent identity. Every agent operating within the Microsoft ecosystem requires a secure identity, a dedicated user account used to authenticate with Dynamics 365, the Power Platform, and your organizational mail system. This step involves creating that user account within your tenant and assigning only the necessary permissions required for operation. You can create the user by accessing the following link. If you do not have the required permissions to create a user, please coordinate with your administrator to provision the account and assign the appropriate license. In my case, I already created a user named SA Identity Agent. I have assigned the user Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management license. The agent user must hold at least one of the following: Power Apps Premium or Power Automate Premium or Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management or Dynamics 365 Finance. Assign the appropriate license in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So now let's try to search user which we have created as agent identity user. Click on add and then click on setup. You can see that the user has been assigned, like added to this environment, and all these security roles like environment maker, supplier communication agent, and finance and operation basic user has been assigned to this particular user. So for that, let's go and check that if those roles are assigned. So let's click on this particular link. So once you will click on that link, you can go to this respective user and then you can click on manage security role. And here you can see that if it has environment maker, finance and operation basic user, and supplier communication agent role has been assigned here. So already we have assigned the required license, product license to this particular identity users. So let's mark this step as complete. Now here the last part where you can see this setup identity in finance and operation. So we need to create this particular user in finance and operation and then assign these respective role like system agent, system user, and this preview supplier communication agent to that particular identity user in FNO. And after that, we can mark that step as also complete. Let's move to FNO. And for that, click on this particular link. So it will open the user form. Once you are here, click on import because we need to add that user first. So search for that user and then click on import user. So once this import is successful, let's try to add the security role. So you can see I have added these roles for this particular SA identity agent user in the system. And now let's revert back to the wizard section. So because this step we have completed, we can mark it as complete and then we can move to the next step. So click on next. Now that the agent has an identity, we need to give that identity authenticated connections to the two platforms it depends on. One is Dataverse and another one is Copilot Studio. And then switch on the three background flows that make the agent functional in real time. So the wizard handles connection creation right here on this page. For each connection type, Dataverse and Copilot Studio, the wizard shows a drop-down. If you already have a connection available from a previous setup, you can select it from the list. If not, click the plus button next to the drop-down to create a new on the spot. It will open make.power apps portal for creating new connection. When creating the Dataverse connection, sign in as the agent identity user. In our case, SA identity agent account we set up in the previous step, not your own admin account. This is important. The connection authenticates as that user. So if you use your personal account, the flows will run with your permissions rather than the agents and will break if your access changes. Select authentication type as OAuth and log in with agent identity user. Now do the same for Copilot Studio connection. Create it using the agent identity user. Click on create. Now come back to the previous screen and let's select the connection as the account which we have set up. Now let's click on connect agent. Now once you will do this step, this button will be enabled, activate flows. So let's click on this button to activate the flow. So now we can see these flows are activated. Let's click on next. Now we are going to talk about how to configure the mailboxes because we need to talk about shared mailbox and private mailbox. Now the supplier communication agent talks to your vendor through email, and for that to work, it needs access to a mailbox. The wizard will guide you through connecting one, and you can choose to use a shared mailbox, or a personal mailbox, or even both. Before starting this step, just make sure that your shared mailbox already exists in Exchange. If it does not, you will need to reach out to your tenant admin to create one because the wizard doesn't create the mailbox for you. It only connects to an existing one. In most enterprise scenarios, a shared mailbox is the preferred option. It's team owned, can be monitored by multiple users, and continues to work even if team members change over time. Let's take a pause here from Wizard Flow to understand the mailbox configuration. So, to set this up, go to Microsoft 365 Admin Center, navigate to Exchange, and under Mailboxes, create a new shared mailbox, for example, a procurement mailbox. And after that, once you will create it, you can see there is an entry under the manage mailbox sections for the one which you have created. Now that the shared mailbox has been created, before returning to the setup wizard, make sure the user has the required permissions. The user must either have the global administrator or exchange administrator role in Office 365 or the delegated mailbox approver role in Dynamics 365. In our case, the tenant administrator has already assigned the delegated mailbox approver role in Dynamics 365 to the user. Next, click on Setup Shared Mailbox. Now, um, the shared mailbox address which we have created earlier, let's copy it over here. Let's search for that particular mailbox. And once you will see here, basically here's an important step that easy to miss. The wizard will automatically associate this shared mailbox with a team in your Power Platform environment, but it does not add users to that team. You will need to add users manually. Any users who need to create agent configurations or review agent results tied to this mailbox must be a member of that team. If they are not part of the team, they won't be able to see the agent results for email coming through this mailbox. So once done, click on Setup to proceed. Now, the wizard will now guide you through approving and enabling the mailbox for server-side synchronization, which allows Dynamics to actually send and receive emails using this address. So let's click on Setup. You can see it has been completed. Let's click on Complete. And now you can see there is a line over added here. Um, Actually, I have created the team earlier, and with that team, I already have associated those two users. So in your case, you need, yeah, like for the first time, you might need to add the users as part of this particular team. So let's check what is the status. Let's click on this members. It will open this particular form. Let's go to the teams, search for the particular team and click over here. So now we are here. Let's click on the queue which has been created as part of this team. And now let's go to this particular mailbox and check the status. Now you can see that after this setup, which was done through this wizard, the incoming email status and outgoing email status is successful. So this setup has been completed. Now we can go back to the previous screen where it has been done, and let's click on next. So one more important thing, if you prefer to use a private mailbox instead, simply click on setup private mailbox, search for the user whose mailbox you want to link, select their mailbox and click setup. The key difference here is that with private mailboxes, only the mailbox owner can create or review agent configurations related to that mailbox. It cannot be shared with other team members. Once at least one mailbox has been configured, click next to proceed to the final configuration step. So we are in the section which is called as enable agent. This step has two parts: verifying the Copilot Studio agents are published and enabling the feature flags in finance and operation that unlocks the agent's capabilities. So let's click on this one and see. So you can see once it will open the copilotstudio.microsoft.com, and within your environment, it will try to show you that this supplier communication agent outbound and supplier communication agent inbound is over there. Now, once you will click on those individuals, you can see that it has already been published. So the same way it is also been published. Now we can go back over here and then we can mark it as complete. So now let's click on this particular link. And what you can see, it will open the feature management for this particular environment. Okay, so let's start from immersive home. Okay, I'm going to enable it. Okay, this has been enabled. Now I will go to the next one where I can say agent management, and it has been enabled. Also, production ready preview supplier communication agent, enable now. Say enable, and then after that, this one. Okay, so the one which basically this one was saying, like production ready preview immersive home, agent management, like the name is different, but yes, like it is agent management, I have enabled it. Then after that, supplier communication agent, then after that, this one. Now click this part as complete and then click next. So now by marking it as complete, we finish setting up supplier communication agent. Now we can notify our user to activate and configure it on their side and start using supplier communication agent. Let's click on this FNO URL. And once you are here, we are able to activate supplier communication agent uh, because we have completed all the wizard steps. Let's try it out. So there are two things you can see, like follow up with vendors on purchase order, which is outbound scenario, but the second option, speed up updates in purchase order with supplier communication agent, it's an inbound scenario. So let's click on try it out. So this take us to this particular form, and here you can say, it says when any vendor sends an email about purchase order to. Now let's go and select our shared mailbox, and I have selected over here. You can see it says email access enable, which is successful. And let's go and click on activate. Now you can see this has been set up. So now let's revert back to immersive homepage. And here you can see that purchase order updates from vendor. Let's click over here. And once you will click here, so you can see this is the landing page. Once the email comes to your shared mailbox, the details about canceling the purchase order or updating the purchase order, you can find the details over here. And based on all your review, you can enable the suggestion, and then you can proceed further. So for testing, I have created this purchase order. Next, for this vendor or supplier, let's make sure the correct email address is added under contact information and set email as primary. This way the supplier emails go from that particular email ID to the shared mailbox. I have already sent an email to the shared mailbox, and here you can see the supplier is asking to confirm this particular purchase order. So now let's go to the immersive homepage. Here you can see that this work item is over here, which says that review updates. Either we can click on over here, or we can see that we can go from here, purchase order updates from vendor, and let's click over here. So once you will click here, it will open this particular form where you can see the purchase order. Let's apply that suggestion and check. So we are reviewing, and let's confirm this one from over here. Now you can see that this operation has been completed, and there is no other line over here. So let's go to the purchase order, refresh this form, and let's try to see what is the status of this purchase order. So you can see this 125 has been confirmed from there. So this byte content video is completed. Thank you.